Welcome back, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I am Rebecca Hansinger. I am the Educational Services Librarian for CLRC. You probably see my name in emails a lot. Thank you again for joining us for this year's annual conference. In this session, we'll be hearing 5 lightning talks from CLRC New Initiatives grant recipients. Each lightning talk will be roughly 11 minutes in total. Grant recipients will have 7 to 8 minutes to tell us about their project, and then 3 to 4 minutes to answer audience questions. So start thinking of them as soon as they start talking. For some background, the New Initiative grants helped our members provide innovative programming or services and help them break down barriers, imagine the impossible, and foster their creativity. While we've recently decided to end the New Initiatives grant program, I'm very happy to announce that we've created a new grant to take its place. CLRC's new Catalyst grants will fund projects that are new to your organization, so just new to you rather than the region as a whole. And they'll help meet your community's needs. We'd like to help you either advance or expand your organization's mission, so they can cover programming, one-off events, plans to transform spaces, anything you'd like. So those interested will work on projects with CLRC staff before completing a full application. So you can keep an eye on your emails for more information, or feel free to find me later to discuss that more. Now, without further ado, let's get to our lightning talks. I'd like to introduce Jen, Tolley, and Cynthia Baxter.
What would I do? Is that I just go back and forth? Oh, gotcha. Well, thank you. Oh, either works. Okay, cool. Okay. Hi guys. So I am Jen, and this is my coworker Cynthia. We are really thankful to CLRC for giving us the money to help roll Kindles into our existing Homebound program, and we're really excited to tell you how it went. Kind of was like mixed.
Okay. We're from Noble Brewerton. And we have about 5 years ago, Jen and I started a homebound delivery program because we realized that there were many patrons in our area, mostly elderly, not all, some disabled, who were not able to get to the library. So what we do is once a month, we take any materials available in the library. Some people put their own holds on, not many. And then the others, we take their likes, dislikes, and we take a bunch of stuff, books, magazines, CDs, anything we have available in the library, movies, and we take it directly to their home. It's door-to-door delivery. And in doing this, we found out that most of our patrons were elderly. And some of the problem was that reading when you become older becomes a problem. They wanted CDs, books on tape. But as you know, most of the stuff that comes out now of these elderly people, they want a specific genre. They want no swearing, no violence, no sex. I'm telling you, this is hard to come by nowadays. And so what this grant did was help us to get Kindles. Because these people, because they can't get out, most of them elderly, many of them are low income. They have no internet and they don't have access to digital materials. Me, I go out and I get a Kindle. They can't afford to do that. So we bought 4 Kindles, and what we found was that we could find a lot more of specific titles they wanted. No sex, no violence, no swearing on Libby that we could not get in CDs. So we took these Kindles. We were a little afraid that maybe they wouldn't be able to use those, but we used a test case, Donna, and boy, she lit right into it. So we were very, very grateful, and I'm able to get her tons of titles that I couldn't get her in a CD. She had a stroke and she is not able to read the printed word anymore. So we were really glad, and it has worked. Now, we did have a little bit of trouble with getting them back. We have since, you have to load, since they don't have an internet, you've got to load it up, take it to them, and then be prepared to have another one loaded to exchange. So you actually have to have 2 Kindles for one person. But we've been very pleased with it.
So there are a couple of pros and cons to the service. Obviously, like Cynthia said, we can provide a greater amount of types of topics, specifically in the gentle, in the Amish, in some of these books where they don't like the cursing and the violence, which happens pretty frequently. We've also found too, a lot of seniors will start to complain that the large print books are too heavy. So the Kindle is a really nice solution because they're obviously much lighter than a hardcover book. And we can also adjust the font and the volume for any kind of audiovisual font needs. With Donna specifically, we've got the font like as big as it can possibly go. We have the audio all the way up, and that is much easier to format than a physical book. Unfortunately, though, they are more expensive to replace than lost or damaged books. Seniors can usually struggle with the tech. Donna is very comfortable now, but in the beginning, she was very nervous about getting this Kindle and trying to use this Kindle. And like Cynthia said, seniors may not have access to Wi-Fi. So that is something that we have to take care of at the library. We had discussed like going to the apartments with a Wi-Fi, but it takes too long for the things to download. So it's much easier just to do it the day before. So there were a couple of difficulties that I ran into actually setting the program up once we got the Kindles. I forgot I would need emails for Hoopla and Libby. And because we were kind of alternating Kindles among different patrons, I didn't want to put patron information on the specific Kindle. So I just went into Gmail and I made like a Nopal Homebound 1, Nopal Homebound 2. And I just made a bunch of fake emails.
Excuse me, so what this really is you have a Kindle, but the Kindle is actually, in order to download things, it has to be a patron. So it has to have its own library card. And then it also has to be checkoutable. So it's not only a patron, it has it has its own library card, but it also has a barcode. So that can be a little confusing, right? I mean, but Jen, she figured it out. It was beautiful.
That's
so
great.
if you ever want to do this,
Yeah.
it's
a lot.
Your library.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I would love to. Yes. But yes, like Cynthia said, we needed different emails. We needed different library cards, and that kept us from putting patron information on. And then if they didn't want a Kindle anymore, I didn't have to take anything off. So what we ended up doing, because there was no Wi-Fi at these facilities, we have 2 tablets per patron. The first month, we will load up the Kindle as much as we can stuff into it the day before, give it plenty of time to download, give it to the patron the next day. And then the day before delivery service the next month, we do the same thing with the second Kindle and we just switch them out. And we just keep doing that over and over and over again. So this gives continuous library service to the patron. It prevents extra trips for us. We also give like maybe 2 or 3 audiobooks just because the due date is about 21 days. So with our monthly visits, there is a little bit of space where they don't have material. So we try to have some physical, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's, what can we do? This is how much it ended up being. We were able to get $745. Thank you so much from CLRC. We appreciate it. We did end up having to spend a little more just because after I submitted the cost, it changed on Amazon. And I did find that I needed a few extra things than I had budgeted for. So a little bit more, but it wasn't more than like $50, I think. Overall, this ended up being a great component of our homebound delivery service, really added value, definitely to people like Donna, who we were running out of stuff. We were tired of her calling and complaining about like the sex in a book we had sent by accident. It was the whole thing. But I do have to say, like, big but, you have to make sure you have a great partner so you actually get the devices back. We ended up working with a senior woman who worked in a senior facility. It started off great. We had a great outreach coordinator, and if anybody else works in outreach, like it very much depends on who you have access to, because once that man left, it was very hard to start getting the Kindles back. So I was very nervous I'd have to show up here and be like, sorry, I lost 2 of them. We did get them back. We hunted them down, but it is something to consider if this is a service you would like to offer to your patrons. It's not going to be for everyone, unfortunately. Unless you buy a cheaper Kindle than I did, then maybe you would justify it. It's up to you and what your values are. I also skip the headphones. I thought the headphones would be really valuable to the patrons. They don't care. So that was kind of like a wasted money. Hopefully one day somebody wants them, but not yet. I also totally forgot about a bag. I was just like, yeah, let me just like hand all these cables and Kindles to them, and not very well organized. So that was something else that I think we just like throw them in a paper bag, which is not great, but
well, I found that instead of
it's not great.
Giving each Kindle with the cords that go with it, just leave one cord there and switch out the Kindle rather than having a Kindle with its cord. And then you go in and they forgot to give you the cord. Just switch out the Kindles, leave them with one cord. They do fine with that.
Okay. Oh, cool. One last thing I did not realize, Amazon requires you to have a payment to get to actually download the apps. I was not going to give these people our credit card. So instead we bought 10 gift cards. And that way they went on to the Amazon. It's like $10. So they have child locks on all the profiles. They shouldn't be able to buy things, but in case I messed up somewhere, they can only buy like $10 worth of things. So, okay. So any questions? Oh, hi. Yes, Maggie.
I'm sorry.
I
could ask you the same thing.
Please.
What made you decide, I mean, other than
Yeah.
cost, but what made you decide to go with, like Amazon Kindle over some other kind of stuff?
I knew how to use a Kindle. I don't think Nooks are that popular, and I was a little nervous that, like, are they even going to be in circulation much longer? I mean, Barnes and Noble's doing better now, but I was still like, eh. And iPads are really expensive.
What about like that again?
Like I said, I know how to use a Kindle. Kindles are very like accessible. Kindle's such a massive company too. So my thought too was if for some reason we couldn't get something on Hoopla, I can download it on Kindle. So that, especially since I have the $10 credit, which hopefully will go untouched, but yes. We
I averaged 25 a month. It fluctuates. I've had as many as 30, and we started out with 7 5 years ago. But my average is about 25 patrons at any one time.
So
yeah.
Word of mouth.
Well, the first
Basically.
thing that we did, we sent out, Meals on Wheels allowed us to do 1 letter in the very beginning, because they don't usually allow people to put things in their deliveries, but they allowed us 1 time. That's how we got the original 7 people. But we have put out all kinds of PR, but we get most of our people from word of mouth, either somebody who has the program, or the best source are clerks at the desks in the 3 libraries. They see somebody come in, they're struggling a little bit, and they'll gently say, if you ever decide to use it, if this becomes too much of a struggle, we'll be glad to bring things to you at home. And that's where we get most of our clients.
So at the moment, it's 2 people using 4 Kindles. At the time I submitted the grant, I thought it was going to be 4 people, but they have moved on. Yes.
I mean, it's people love me, well, I'm just giving testimony.
Oh, thank you.
It's for great, they help us get our Homebound program. They worked with Yankee Owens and some of our clerks.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
So anybody who wants to do this,
Cool.
contact them.
Yeah.
And
There
we
you go.
did similar with the PR and stuff, and we still do like either curbside or inside the door. And so the clerks have been saying, by the way, do you know, if they can tell somebody that, it's a problem.
Yeah.
so.
But I am getting the time button. So here's our emails. Please, we'll be here the rest of the day. If you have any more questions, let us know. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for the money.
Let me find the button. Hi, my name is Margaret Martin. I'm the Youth Services Librarian at Soule Branch Library, which is part of Onondaga County Public Library System in the city of Syracuse. And I started a tween and teen social emotional learning, that's SEL, anime after school program. Teens over the pandemic, 2 big things. Definitely saw diminished social skills. I've heard some educators, when the kids came back into the building, say they're feral. And then definitely seeing a decrease in literacy skills. I think I sat in on the state of literacy in Onondaga County webinar a while ago, and I think they gave some statistic, which is a 5th grade classroom having like 7 different grades of reading levels all in one room. So those are 2 big obstacles that happened over the pandemic. But one thing that I noticed in my library when we were coming out of the pandemic shutdown was a huge interest in manga, are what a lot of young patrons coming into my library would say, like, where are the anime books? All right, the manga that's over there. It's the interest in anime and manga absolutely exploded over the past few years. I believe the MPD book scan said that between 2020 and 2021, manga sales increased 160%, which I can absolutely believe. there's a really nice webinar series called Manga in Libraries, and they have a webinar called Social Emotional Learning with Mangas. And one of the presenters talked about just how important and personally resonant anime and manga was for him when he was a teenager, when he was a youth, and how it really helped him turn his behavior around, how it helped him with his social skills. And so I said, well, that sounds good. So we started up an SEL themed anime club at our library for 5th through 12th graders that would meet weekly. We partnered with the Syracuse City School District, and the SEL curriculum that they pay for and that they use is the Castle Second Step curriculum. And it has these 5 different quadrants, and in each of these quadrants can be broken down into a different theme or a different idea. And so looking at their curriculum, you would say like, okay, well, today we're supposed to focus on the ideas perseverance. And we have a talk about what does perseverance mean, and we read like a little scenario, and then maybe we do some type of activity or role play with it. But I quickly found that tweens and teens, they want to watch what they want to watch, so that when I implemented this program, then I flipped it. I would take a poll of the students and say, like, what do you want to watch? Then I would pre-watch it, because some of that stuff is absolutely not appropriate for a group like that. And then watching what they were interested in, if it passed muster, then I would then extract SEL topics from the episodes that were okay for us. And it turns out that a lot of the really popular anime that's out there now has a lot of good lessons and a lot of good SEL topics in it. So My Hero Academia, there's perseverance, there's courage, there's personal responsibility. Actually, perseverance kind of persists through a lot of these animes. Demon Slayer has empathy, how to cultivate calm, integrity. Promise Neverland, oh, there's a lot about trust of adults with that one. Cooperation is another major theme with these. And then this is kind of a second tier anime, Black Summoner, but the kids said they wanted to do it. There were nice little nuggets with like, oh, manners, praise, giving compliments, the dangers of making assumptions about people. The format for our meetings is we would start off with like a fun craft or icebreaker that was pretty easy. And then I would introduce the topic. Like today, we're going to talk about trust. What is trust? And in order to help elicit responses, then if you gave a response, if you raised your hands, you would get some candy. You would get some Pocky. That is where you would get your Asian treat. And it's amazing what a motivator like Pocky or like cute little Asian treats can be. And then we would screen an anime episode. For those who don't know, then Crunchyroll, you can apply for a free library account, which is wonderful and amazing. So that was the format for our weekly meetings that we had. Then the kids said, like, we want stuff to do on the weekends too. So we did have some special anime themed programs that we ran a few weekends. So for example, we had anime themed yoga, which was so popular that the kids have been asking for it again, and we're going to run it again in December. Our How to Draw Anime program was very popular. They've been asking for that again. There is a website where you can plug in and create your own anime bingo sheets. And anything having to do with food, then candy sushi making was pretty popular as well. And that was our program. I know that's kind of short, but I am happy to take questions now. Yes.
So you mentioned the process of the poll and the watch and then doing the FDI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
During the watch, did you do any like note taking or anything?
Yes.
To get the rest of to sort of calculate that.
Oh yeah, no, I had like a whole Google spreadsheet and like including like a column like, oh, like the language in this is like problematic, like, and yes, so I have a pretty good assessment of like an episode by episode flow of not everything, but like the things that they asked for at that. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Becky. See ya. Thank you.
I'm curious, who would mostly get a, I assume you send most of it afforded to come every week? Or do you, or in how does it have to new staff in, they do the rate pretty well, or like how does you get when people didn't show up, you have to tell them what they're doing?
Honestly, attendance was all over the map. I mean, because this was like the year that like we were still coming out of the pandemic. So there would be like a week where like there would be a COVID outbreak, and that plus, you know, weather, I would be like, okay, I guess it's just me today. And then there would be other weeks, like there was one week where the entire like girls modified volleyball team from the school across the street just showed up. I'm like, hi, 17, like 12 and 13-year-old girls here. But then there was a medium in between. I mean, I found that kids often know these things and have watched these things so much that they're like, oh yeah, My Hero Academia. Like I've watched this like 8 times already, fine. And then their version of like watching it as a group was like this, while we were showing it on the screen. So the few times that we had participants who showed up, they were like, I haven't watched Black Summoner before, then it's a good opportunity to say, all right, kids, help us out. Like, what is the setting? Other participants, who are the main characters, for them to be able to hone some skills articulating like information sharing and like trying to boil down it like a narrative process there. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's good question. I did not try to delve super deep with it. It was more of like introducing a topic, getting people thinking about it, or like the week that we like did like compliments, then it's like, I know it's going to be embarrassing, but turn to your neighbor, and if you can give them like a nice compliment, you'll get a piece of Pocky or something like that. But I didn't try to delve like super deeply, in part because some of our patrons came from, it's a residential school down the street from us with kids with behavior problems who, for one reason or another, cannot do foster care. And all of them have trauma in their background, and they all get like therapy that way. I didn't need to open up any of that. It was more like getting them thinking about it and dropping the nugget down, and you know, thinking and learning about these types of things unfolds over time. You can plant a seed. Oh, and I've got time. So. Yes. Okay, so I will chat with you later. Thank you very much.
Da-da. So there's the title of the project I was awarded for the school year of last year. And my name is Darcy Barber. I am a school librarian in the Liverpool Central School District, and this project was implemented at Donlin Drive Elementary School, which at the time was a K2 building, and I saw classes every 8 days. And this, we went from a K6 to a K2. It was a really big shift in the collection, which was the perfect time to implement dynamic shelving in the K2 library. So I think it's safe to say that most people in the room have some understanding of what dynamic shelving means. Raise your hand if you do not. Good. And I think that traditional static shelving, what, just one person? Oh, one person. You don't know what dynamic, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So dynamic shelving is the opposite of static shelving. Static shelving is spine out, facing it all nice and neat and orderly, very adult centered. It's an adult centered space. And the dynamic shelving twists it. If you see some of the newer school library or the Demco, things like that, you'll see that they're pushing face forward shelving so that the students or the children or the patrons can see the cover, because, you know, we eat with our eyes, so to speak, and we not always in the K2 do we know what we want to read. So dynamic shelving is any form of non-spine out shelving. It can be in a bin, it can be just face out. They have new acrylic things that you can use to put the face out of the book. Oops, wrong way. So the intention was to understand that K2s do not always know books by authors. They don't always know what they want to read, and they haven't reached full literacy, nor is their dexterity in their hands fully developed yet. It really makes sense to create high interest, easy access points of high quality literature, which is interesting to them. This is being replicated in 4 K2 buildings right now. Mostly in the sciences, in the informational section, and the series bins is where I've implemented this mostly. It keeps going backwards, okay. So the goals were to, of course, identify and purchase the bins. Once I learned that I had been awarded the grant, I envisioned which section I wanted to use them in. DDE currently has a phenomenal picture book collection, and not only because I don't want to read my Patricia Polacos or my Tommy DePaulos, but because of our merge recently, we had moved from a K6 to a K2, and an entire building was, actually 4 buildings were concentrated into 4 others. So we absorbed a big collection. I absorbed 4,000 pieces in our districts. So, however, I do believe that static shelving inhibited the K2s really digging in, and it still does, because I'm one person. I don't have an aide in my library. I don't get help. And that picture book collection still needs to be, we still have multiples of things that need to be, again, redistributed across our district. But the goals were to identify and purchase the bins, and then identify which spaces I wanted to use this in. And I wanted to use it in the informational section and in the picture book and the series bins, actually all over. So the timeline. I knew I should have used the clicker. So the timeline, I received the award in July, and during that time, I didn't get back to it till September, of course, 2022. And then I ran into shipping delays and out of stock and back ordered items. The bins that I wanted were nice little square, kind of dry erase dollar store type bins. But COVID really impacted my implementation. But it's fully implemented now. I was able to purchase 33 bins with printable labels using the $700 award. And I did put it in the high traffic areas, mostly in the informational sections, the 500s, so that when I'm at the desk checking out or helping them to check out, the little babies can say, I know where the spider bin is, and then go right over and they get the spiders or the sharks or whatever informational text they want. And I have seen a really big impact in students helping each other at the K2 level. And I wish I had an aide, but I don't. So I have to be at the desk helping them. They beat themselves out if they scan their own name card, but I'm there just to make sure I click the button because I like to do this. And I have really seen, I can't keep the bins full anymore. So I have seen success in this award through those 3 bulleted points. The contents of our series bins are arranged in alphabetical order according to the author. So I still have maintained the integrity of the system. I maintain the integrity of Dewey by content. So spiders are kind of right where they're supposed to be. our picture book bins are grouped by author as opposed to content. And slide 8 is my conclusion here. So here you'll see like the top left corner there is, prior to this dynamic shelving. Because I'm not, unfortunately, I can't be helping them in the library finding a spot. And yes, I do stations. Yes, I reach and all that good stuff. So static shelving after the K2 book selection, top left. These are all the series bins. And you'll see these little piles here are waiting to be binned. Those are waiting to be binned, but these are all our series bins and they're labeled, nice big colorful labels. Down here, these are the bins I purchased with the $700. I'm not loving them, but they work. The colors throw me off, but the kids don't seem to mind the colors. Those are the early readers. And then we have here the sciences, the Jerry Pilates, and of course, the one in the middle is those pre-labeled. And the kids really, I mean, it's really working. It helps them. I have 2 minutes, the informational bins labeled and questions and comments. Go ahead.
If you were to do this again, would you color code it to the kids as well? I can break it down even more.
I am doing it again because I'm moving to 3-5 in December and I'll be in 2 libraries again. I'm also implementing it right now. I've reached out to my PTO for the second library that I'm in charge of that doesn't have it. And I'll know like by November 4th if they do. And I would love to see just clear acrylic bins, but that, right now I'm priced out of that. So luckily the dollar store bins are like a grayish blue right now. And the second library that I'm managing has like a grayish blue. So I'm hoping that I don't think I would color code it. I do try to keep it some sort of, I don't know, like, what do you mean color coded? Like, what are you envisioning? And when you say color coded?
I like spiral and like, oh, this blue would be for this category.
Right.
They could all correlate. Like, you also don't have age in that.
Right. I do keep all the Lego bins or all the Lego books in a red bin. So I mean, I can say right. Yeah, but that's a good idea. That's a good idea to have more. I'm including my PTO in the next one so that maybe I can get more hands on deck to implement it a lot faster. It does go quickly once you realize what you want to do. Go ahead.
So interested then, so when we did some things that we also recategorize them at the time,
Like genres, like that,
yeah. But I love that, that we brought, it's very hard and kind of arbitrary to figure out categories for different books.
I'm not curious.
Right. And so I like that, and I also really like that you did nonfiction because we only did picture books, and I felt like the kids would have really enjoyed having that nonfiction part of it. So we really kind of only did the 500 weekend and the nonfiction.
Yes. Because I wanted to do my picture books, but my bins right now don't fit in. If you could see my shelves, I have to like remove everything, and I just don't have time. I can't do it. If I could, I would, but right now I have 3 shelves on these, and the books are all like sideways and bent down and not spine out. But yeah. Anybody else? Questions? Go ahead.
So when the bins were on the shelf, the kids go view them on the shelf,
They sure do.
so they can go. So
Yeah, these.
take the bins off.
Oh, they can if they want to. Yeah, they can take the shelves off, and then we just know where they go.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is alphabetized according to the author. Yeah. The littles don't know that, but they may know that. And they know, we teach them ABC order and things like that. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, what was kind of your to be the dynamic shelf? Like, are you the first one in the district to do it, or
I am the first in my district, but I'm not the first in other districts to do it.
how long have you been holding on?
Holding on to what?
Like, when did you do it?
Oh, since I became a school librarian in 2006. It's easier with, we have literally no hope.
We just have a comment, we did this with our reference collection,
Uh-huh.
and like our kids and their friends, instead of just taking albums that they know, when they put through.
Right.
And do
Record store, yeah.
So I really like this stuff out.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
Hey. All right, hello, everybody. Let me get the little clicker in action here. Okay. All right, hello, hi, my name is Shauna Mojo. I am also from the Onondaga County Public Libraries. I work at Hazard Branch. A little bit about me. Hazard Branch is over there by the upside down traffic signal. On the west side, the Chip Hill neighborhood. So when I applied for this grant, I was the teen services librarian assistant at my branch. But by the grace of the unforgiving God that is the New York State Civil Service Commission, I was able to get a full-time job. And so I am now the children's librarian. And I applied for this grant a couple years ago because when I returned from the library in the spring of 2021, after being furloughed for a year, our teen area was like a desert, right? Like no one there, nothing happening. And it wasn't just at my branch either. Talking to my colleagues made me really realize that this was something that was happening at all the branch libraries across the city. Because we've been closed for COVID for a long time. Teens were just like experiencing the world in a new way, and they just weren't coming to the library the same way they had been. So in late 2021, I went to NYLA and I met someone there who was telling me about a project that they had implemented at their library in a suburb of Rochester. And I loved the project idea. So this library was engaging teens by offering fun subscription-like book boxes with hand-selected titles and fun goodies for their teens to keep, but without any cost to the teens. There are similar monthly subscriptions that you can pay for, like Elimicrate and Owlcrate, and those can be like $35 or more per month. So this librarian I had spoken with had implemented this service at her one local branch. And I know some other libraries in our area, like the Community Library of DeWitt in Janesville, also had a similar project at their location. But I had never seen it implemented in a larger city, and specifically at a place that was across multiple branches at once. And since OCPL already had a really robust delivery system in place, I knew that if I could capitalize on the strength of that existing infrastructure, that we might be able to pull together something that we could use to benefit all the teens across the city. So enter the CLRC New Initiatives Grant, yay, money. All right, so our teen book box project would eventually become known as TREK, Teen Reading Engagement Kit. One of my lovely colleagues helped me to design the logo, and we had stickers printed and everything. So kind of like similar to other libraries, we put together monthly boxes that contained, each month had different crafts, knickknacks, stickers, stationery, occasionally a snack here and there. And then to sign up for the program, the teens would have to fill out an online form the month before the box giveaway to tell us a bit about what they like to read and also what branch they wanted to pick it up at. And then within the first week-ish of the month, I would pack up the boxes with that month's items and then ship them out to their respective branches. I created specific TREK delivery bins for transportation. So shout out to all the delivery staff because they had to just magically transport these new bins. So bless them. And then after the branches received their boxes, the staff would select an item or two based off of the patrons' likes and dislikes. They would put them in the box, and then teens would be able to come and pick up their items. And then teens would return their books after they had finished reading them, but they would get to keep all the items that were in the box, but they would also return the box so that I could reuse it in subsequent months. And since we wanted to have as many different teens be able to access this program as possible, we did have patrons re-sign up every month, just to allow for the opportunity for as many teens as possible to participate. So we officially started this project in July of 2022 and concluded it in July of 2023. And after all was said and done, the city branches had given away 255 treks to a total of 87 different teens across the city. 8 of our 9 city branches participated in the program, and overall staff at those branches felt that the program did a good job of meeting the needs of their patrons. And teens themselves rated the books 4.1 stars out of 5, and they rated the items that were in the boxes 4.6 stars out of 5. As with every project, there's some also stumbles and bumbles along the way. And one of the major unforeseen consequences of this project was the additional workload that was put on the shoulders of a lot of our part-time staff members. because unfortunately at most of our city branches, we rely on part-time staff to do teen programming and to do teen collection development. And some branches had a lot of requests for boxes. So these part-time staff colleagues of ours were tasked with additional labor of selecting more titles, which we never really want to do. Also, librarians from across the city said that they wished that the program had been expanded to include other age groups. And they also wished that there had been a greater number of boxes available per month. After dividing it up by months, we were usually able to give out about 25 boxes to city teens per month. But overall, I think the program was really successful. I think that the most remarkable accomplishment of this project was how city youth services staff were able to use this program to really like rebuild those relationships with the teens in their communities. This is a picture of my friend Jay Lynn. He would die if he knew that I showed this picture with you guys. So please don't tell him. Yeah, so but like the necessity of having to like physically come into the library, I think was really important because it encouraged teens and library staff to like have conversations with each other, you know? And that I think really helps to build a sense of community with teens in our libraries. It's like when they're talking to us and you know, they can build those like personal connections with everyone. And actually Margaret, who you just heard from about the manga and the social emotional learning, she had an excellent turnout for her program. The residential school that she had spoken about wanted the programs, like they wanted all the boxes. So we were actually able to make like a sister program that she was able to run on her own using kind of the same format. So that was like a really awesome and unexpected part of this project as well. One of the tangential wins of this project was my beautiful spreadsheet. So fun fact, I love a good spreadsheet. And I could go on and on about my sweet baby spreadsheet, but mostly just wanted to say that this wound up being like a really useful tool for us. It was a shareable spreadsheet that all of the city staff were able to access. And like it was a really just excellent tool for exercising like our collective knowledge, because like we had the, you know, the basic patron information, what they filled out in their form. But then there was also a part for our colleagues to ask for help. Like, I don't know what kind of like high fantasy dragon book, right? Like that I want to give my teens, but there was a space for other people to jump in and be like, oh, I know a great series, or like I can recommend a title. So this just became like a really awesome thing. And that's basically it. So thank you so much. Appreciate the LRC. I got questions. Yeah.
Time frame of it, are you still doing it, or were you doing back continuing?
We did not continue it. Unfortunately, it is a costly project. And the only reason we were able to do it really was because we got the grant funding.
Because of.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm realizing that this cost is realized.
Yes.
Everyone gets the same consumables?
Yes, the consumables, I kind of like had a monthly theme going on for each month, and I purchased according to that theme, gave them all out, and then the staff at the branches would pick out the items to put in the boxes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think so. My branch personally, I like don't have many teens still, you know, but there were some branches that had like a really high volume of use with these, and they like in their comments when I like, you know, gave out a survey at the end, they really mentioned like that this was a great service that like the team really brought the teens into the libraries and like did make them like check out more things, attend more programs. So I think, yeah, even if it doesn't pick up at all of the branches necessarily, I think it, especially during that like post-COVID year, I think it was a really good kind of like stopgap measure to like bring them back in, you know, so yeah. Okay, thank you so much, yay.
Well, thank you to Jen and Cynthia and Margaret and Darcy and Shauna. I appreciated hearing about all of your exciting projects. Now lunch. So go ahead and eat, and we'll meet back here at 1:30.